Welcome back. In this tutorial, I will introduce you to a new and awesome feature of the Advanced Framework course widget system called themes. Themes are a great tool that allows you to redefine colors, typography, and more for all of your widgets in advance. And if you cannot find one design that fits everything, you can always provide multiple themes that can be adjusted from level to level or on runtime. So let's create a new theme from the ground up. First, we need to create a theme data asset. This is a new type of primary data asset that comes with the Advanced Framework Core 5.0 and consolidates all your widgets design data. Let's create one and open it. In a freshly created theme data asset, you have 6 categories and all of them need to be filled out completely to create a new theme. And with the correct setup that I am going to show you later, you can see the changes you make in the theme directly in your widget creator. So for starters, let's define some colors. Currently, this section includes 5 generally used colors, each in 4 different shades. Main colors are usually used for the interactable elements like buttons or slider, as well as other elements that should stand out. Subsidiary colors are more subdued and used for less important elements. Action colors are used for selected elements or for highlighting. Text colors are obviously used for text elements. And background colors are used for the outermost widgets like scaffolds or borders. And if I hit save and compile, the colors are automatically updated to the ones in the data asset. So let's get a bit more sophisticated and create some shades. Every common color comes in 4 shades that should be of the same color. The normal shade serves basically as a default. Prominent shade should be a bit brighter than the normal shade. The subtle shade, on the contrary, should be a bit darker than the normal shade. And the gradient shade should be different enough from the normal shade to create a visible and pleasant gradient, since this is its main use case. This is not really visible right now, since this data asset does not have gradients enabled. Let's just finish with the colors and then enable gradients so you can see it properly. Generally, it's not recommendable to define too many contrasting colors here. Our recommendation is to use 2 similar colors for the main and action color, probably making the action color a bit brighter than the main color, and either using 2 similar dark or 2 similar light colors for background and subsidiary color, making sure that the subsidiary color is different enough from the background color so you can see an element that's painted with it. And using a third color that contrasts with all previous colors as a text color, so text is always clearly visible. Chart colors come in 1 shade only, and as I said before, they are basically a resource for special cases that cannot be defined within the common colors. Now is a good time to try the gradients. So let's find the correct section in the data asset and enable gradients. As you can see, after saving and compiling, now we have a nice gradient here at the button or down here at the selector from the main color of the widget element to its gradient color. So let's continue by adding some fonts. The font section here at the top defines everything about typography. It's basically a big map, and under each map entry, you can define the font family, typeface, size, letter spacing, and font material for one text use case, so to speak. The use cases provided by the Advanced Framework Core contain the following categories. Display texts are meant to have the biggest sizes and are usually used in widget titles and use cases. Headings and subheadings are meant to structure your widget internally if you provide longer text or multiple sections in a widget. Body is meant for longer texts and lists and similar. And action links and caption typographies are often used for interactable widget elements like buttons, for example. It might seem a lot of work to fill all of that out, I agree. However, most of these typographies are used in widgets classes provided by the Advanced Framework Core, so please do not slack off here because you might have problems at a later stage if you do. And if you really want to make your life easy, just copy the values from a theme that the Advanced Framework Core already provides and just change the values you want, like adjusting the font, for example. And now if we hit save and compile, we can see the new typography for the display and heading, and also how the action link on our buttons is nicely bold as we set it up. Now, the next thing on our plates are corners and outlines. Let's start with corners. Generally, you can choose from 3 types of corners. Full means rectangular corners, edged means diagonally cut corners, and rounded means obviously round corners. Additionally, you can create this map with adjustments of the corner style for different use cases like buttons, bars, or inner widgets. The float you match to each use case defines how many pixels the corner uses, meaning the higher the number you add, the rounder the rounded corners get, and the more is cut of an edged corner. For starters, let's add 10 to every section and see what we can get. And now you can see with the edged setting, nice bit cut off the corners. However, looking at the whole widget, this does not work for all of the elements as well as for the buttons. So let's adjust our map a bit. For buttons, a value like 15 should be doing good. Very nice. But for the inner and outer border, we definitely need larger values. So let's pick 25 and 20. That looks much better. Bars are actually stuff like progress bars or sliders, for example. Let's have a look here. This is a knob, so we gave it the smallest setting, and this is the end of the bar that has the bar setting. This section is very similar to the corner section, this time matching the broadness of an outline to a use case. Outlines are heavily used for hovering animations or to mark selections, so do not neglect this section. For now, let's enter a value of 5 pixels for everything and see how it looks like. And with that, we have a nice outline upon hover for our buttons. For example's sake, let's change the value from 5 to 15 so we can see the difference it will make. Here we are. Now we have a much bigger and more visible outline. With that, we have a complete theme defined that we can use to style our widgets. So next, let's have a look at how we can use it. First of all, if you want to preview a theme on a widget in the designer, you can always go to the top widget of your widget tree, find the preview section and add the theme there. This, by the way, is the setup I used in the previous part of the video to show you the effects of changes in the theme data asset. This does not define the theme for the displayed widget, however. It is, as the section name says, only a preview. So how can we define a theme for a widget in the level? That is actually equally simple. You can go to the actor displaying the widget, find the theme section on the widget component, check the custom theme boolean and decide on a theme. Just be aware that by this you lock the theme for this widget, as we will show later. In a level with lots of widgets, the method I just described might be a lot of work, and also this does not allow you to change the widget theme at runtime. But this is also possible. In this case, you must make use of the theme manager. The theme manager is a blueprint that basically manages your themes for you. You find it in the Advanced Framework Core folder under Blueprints and Manager. Let's create an instance in the level and have a look at it. As manager goes, the theme manager is actually as simple as can be. It keeps track of the current theme using this variable, which you can also use to define the starting theme. And if you just want one theme for all of your widgets in the level, that's all the setup you need. You want to change the theme as well? In that case, the theme manager provides you with an event to do that too. As an example, let's take that button and make it change the theme from deep orange to our newly created tutorial theme. For that, let's go to our event graph and first of all, equip the actor with a reference of the theme manager. next we use the select component event dispatcher to toggle the theme change using the update theme event provided by the theme manager. As you can see here, this function calls an event named onThemeUpdate, which is used by the widget component to adjust the theme of the widget it displays. Now here we are in a level with our theme change button and a number of widgets to witness our theme change. We press the button and voila, all of the widgets change to the new theme. Just for example's sake, let's use the custom theme feature on one of the widgets here, and we set it to the deep orange theme. And now when we hit the theme change button, all themes are changed except this one. Seeing our widgets in the level, we find that some of the design decisions we made in the theme were less than optimal. So let's go back to the theme data asset and adjust that. First, let's change the typeface from the display1 text from bold to regular to make it less imposing. And then go down to the colors and ensure that the text is clearly visible on all backgrounds, including on the action color on which it is not very visible up until now. And going to the level, all our changes are already incorporated into the widgets. So you see, themes might be a bit imposing at the beginning, but once you get comfortable with them, they will be a huge help in your project. With that, I will sign off. See you soon. Bye bye.